I've lived in Texas all of my life, and the Lord told me in 2006, I want you to go to Philadelphia. I identified the time because it would have been about a week after the Amish shooting, when all of the students were killed in the Amish school in Lancaster County. And so I came, and I really didn't even like Philadelphia. I mean, at that time I came. But we came into Philadelphia because the Lord told me to come. I remember getting up in the morning, and I walked the streets of the city of Philadelphia. And I remember going in a little coffee shop. It's sort of a local coffee shop, and I'd see a group of men sitting here, another group over there, people coming in. And all of a sudden my heart just began to cry for this city, because I sensed that this is a city who had lost its identity, the city that had lost its purpose. And I realized then it was because this was God's capital of this nation, and that had been taken from her and removed to another place. And I began to look around, and I saw how that the city created its own heroes. You had Rocky, the statue of Rocky, and you have graffiti that shows a hero graffiti. You have almost a worship of teams, because it's a city that had lost its purpose in its identity. And then I began to sort of study the city, and I began to realize I had written before a book, God's Covenant with America, and I had identified two places where God had established what I see as the true foundation, or at least the true foundation of this nation, which would be the twin towers of truth and freedom. Freedom established at Virginia Beach, truth established in Boston. And so I had a picture of this nation founded upon those two great towers of truth and freedom, and how I could see then that if truth swept aside, that freedom begins to have its own meaning, and man begins to do what he chooses to do, and then all of a sudden truth and freedom both are swept aside. And so that's sort of a vision that I had of this nation. But I came to Philadelphia. Before I came, the Lord told me, He said, you've got to look at a nation like you look at a man. If you're going to change a man, you change his heart. And the same thing with a city. If you're going to change a city, you change its heart. And the Lord spoke to me further, and He said, Philadelphia is still my capital of this nation. I never intended for it to change. Others have changed it and moved it to a different place, but this is still my capital of this nation. And so if you look at this nation, you look at its heart. And if I'm going to change this nation, I'm going to change its heart, just like I would change Jerusalem to change Israel. And so I came, and I came to this city. And I left that time with a real heart cry for this city. And that has never left me. I have a passion for this city. I have a love for this city. And a part of it is because of what William Penn planted here when he established this city based on the greatest of all commandments as a noble experiment, founded upon the principle of brotherly love and the love of God, founded upon a real sense of love. And that's what God planted here. And yet this city has become a city of division. But even though it's become a city of great division, maybe more than any other city in America, nevertheless, God has a call and a destiny and a purpose for this city, just as He does for America. One of the things that God has written in my heart so clearly, and He just pounds it in my heart one time after another, this is the nation of the second covenant. This is a nation that is to be a light bearer to the world. Our forefathers saw it. When they came over here, even Columbus was himself identified as a light bearer. And perhaps he missed his journey, but he caused the eyes of the world to focus on this new land, this nation of America. And then later on, as others came, they came with a clear vision that they were bringing God's glory to this land, that this nation could be a land of freedom and truth, a light bearer to the world. And that's it. That's what God has called it to be. God's given me a clear picture of this nation as the nation of the second covenant, the nation established in covenant, a nation that is to introduce to the nations of the world the profound principles of freedom and truth and brotherly love that are planted there, planted in this nation. And so that's part of what God has written in my heart when I came to Philadelphia. I did not even appreciate what Philadelphia represented. When I was doing my writing, I did not have a clear picture of what William Penn had planted here. But now I see that this nation is God's nation of covenant, that this city is God's city of the second covenant. This is the capital founded upon the greatest of all commandments, brotherly love, that you'll love each other and that you'll love God. And the cornerstone laid in this city is the cornerstone of the Lord Jesus Christ and His great commandment. And so I have a passion and a desire and a commitment to this city that this city will be transformed. I see two pictures in this city. When you look superficially at this city, you see a city of tremendous division, tremendous problems. But when you look closer, you see a church below the radar, and it's ministries here and ministries there, and there are thousands of them, and they have a profound commitment to this city and to God. And coming out of that and flowing out of that is a unity and a picture of God's remnant, of the saints of the Most High that are committed to transforming this city. The same thing's happening throughout the nation, but I think more profoundly in this city than any that I know of. And part of it is because God is bringing people here. He's bringing those that have been here with a commitment, but He's also bringing people from all over to this city because God has a call and a purpose and identity for this city and this nation at this time. I believe that this city will transform this nation. I believe that when God moves, He's going to first move in Philadelphia. And when He does, He's going to redig the ancient wells that were planted deep in this city in its early days. And He's going to dig them deeper. And this city will be founded once again, just as if renewed and even as founded a first time upon the greatest of all commandments, to love each other, to love God, and to place God first. And we will proclaim in this city, there is no king but Jesus. There is no Lord but Jesus. Jesus Christ is Lord, and that will be God's divine picture. Another thing that I believe in is that America as a nation of the second covenant will also lead Israel, the nation of the first covenant, back into its own destiny. And that's almost a scriptural thing as you see, that the younger will lead the older, and will lead the older into the position that God has called the older. And so that's a picture that I see. So I come to this city with a passion, a heart, and a heart cry. I mean, I'm just a small town lawyer, a Texas lawyer, but with a passion for this city. And so I come and I make this proclamation over this city. There is no king but Jesus. I make this proclamation over this nation. There is no king but Jesus. And I make this proclamation over Israel. There is no king but the Messiah. And Jesus Christ is the Messiah. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this opportunity to speak.